Oh, he's on it. Oh, he's on it. Whacking it, he keeps missing it, but oh, there he is.
Hi folks, Captain Mike here from Salty Cape, and you know the season has officially kicked off when you have your first case of striper thumb. Today we put in with Captain Rob Lowell of Cape Cod Offshore Charters here in the west end of the Canal of Buzzards Bay in search of topwater stripers. As you can tell, it is a windy day, much windier than we anticipated, but that doesn't mean the action was slow.
I just heard you get whacked. There you go. This guy really wanted it. He got both hooks, but we're fishing a pile of birds. They're pretty easy to find. Tons of fish under them, fresh fish, they got lice on them. And we're throwing topwater plugs right now. Specifically the Hogan dog walker, which is my favorite lure.
Typically in these conditions, the name of the game is small soft plastics or small epoxy jigs. But for whatever reason, whether it was competing with huge amounts of bait or scattered stripers, topwater plugs was the ticket for us today. So it's windy today, so I'm going to give you a couple of pointers on how to work this plug. So for starters, if you're upwind and casting down to the fish, you're going to get very long casts. But you're also going to have to watch out for a belly of slack line once the lure hits the water. So your first thing you want to do is get quick control of the lure. Once you get in direct contact by collecting the loose line, you want to work the lure so it has what's called the walk the dog action, where it goes left and right, left and right, left and right. And you do that with a series of short twitching or jerking motions with the rod. And depending on the wind, the boat angle, sometimes your tip is up at a 45-degree angle, sometimes your tip is pointed toward the water at a 45-degree angle. But on a windy day like today, you're going to be playing around the angle, but the most important thing you want to do is make sure that plug is, again, walking the dog, that left, right, left, right, left, right motion. As you can hear, there's rattles in this lure, and it's very visible. It's a glow white, so it has a high contrast against the bright sky. It's making a splash in the water. It's a good profile, and you're going to let the rattles, call them in. So again, that walk the dog action, cast out, control the line, series of twitches, play around with the rod angle to make that lure come alive, and you'll be in business.
There we go. Oh, that's it. Feels like maybe a nicer one. All right, so we're getting back up on top of the school here. We just made a couple very successful drifts through them, so we're gonna stay right here, but it seems that the schools have split into two distinct pods, one over here, one over here. So basically what you wanna do is you wanna get out away from the school. You don't wanna run up through it. You wanna get up around it, go upwind, and then set up your drift to come right back down on top of it. You gotta be respectful of everybody else. He's getting up on the drift again too, so we're both gonna come around the school and make a drift right back down through the middle.
Captain Rob is doing a fantastic job staging these fish. So for starters, what he's doing is he's approaching the fish upwind, and that'll allow him to drift onto the school and drift with the school. So you have a long exposure to the feeding action. Now he's doing a couple other things. He's being very aware of other boats, keeping a nice, courteous distance. He's not charging into the school. That commotion of just plowing right in, while I'll give you a couple of quick casts and some action in the short run, it's going to spook the fish in the long run. So again, just to recap, what you want to do is get upwind, drift down, and drift with the school. Never charge up on the fish, and leave a courteous distance, with the other boats that you're fishing with.
Now this technique, the first couple casts might not be productive, but remember you're setting yourself up for a nice long drift to get all the way through the school. So position your boat so that the furthest cast that you can make might just barely touch the school. Remember, you're gonna drift down into them, and the fish hopefully are gonna be moving towards you if you position the boat right, and you'll be able to get far more casts than if you were to just run up into the fish and risk spooking them. Lots of action, all topwater so far, which is my favorite. There's some really small ones mixed in. There's some better ones mixed in. We've seen some fish that are well over keeper size already. We haven't got one to the boat yet, but they're here. It's windy, it's wavy. There's tons of birds, tons of bait, and the bass are hungry. They just arrived. They're working their way up from the south. It's the first week of May, and we're on them.